the basis of my beginning training was say the joke and get the fuck off the stage. And it wasn't a healthy environment to be in for 8+ years that I worked with that group. Looking back on it, I wish I had been stronger. I wish I wasn't looking for their approval the whole time. But I needed that to then go on and keep fighting and pushing past what I thought was my limitation. But it's not. I had so much more to give that they didn't see, that they didn't believe that I had. But I knew inside that I had more, and that it's pushing through that and knowing that you can do it no matter what. And I was talking with one of the people that came in for a session just before the podcast today, and like I was saying, like the beginnings, when you're first beginning acting, you're moving all about, right? And like you're stepping back sometimes when you're supposed to get into an emotional moment, but you need to stay still. You need to plant yourself. You need to say, no, I'm not moving. You're moving. And that brings out the competition, that brings out the fight. And today we were talking a lot about facial movements and how like getting all this going and all this stuff happening. Like, if it's justified in the script, that's fine. But if it's not, like you can see the best actors in the world, they're not moving their fucking face. They're not moving whatsoever. Their stillness is justified. Their movements are justified. Their words are justified. This is what we're trying to get to. We're trying to get to the upper echelon of things. We're trying to push past what we believe is our limitations and go past that.
Right. Yeah. You mentioned something about the movement is Tom will say tension masks emotion, and the tension will always come out somewhere else too. So yeah, you see this a lot. You see shoulders. You see little hand things. Yeah, eyebrows. Or you see lean in, and we all do this to a certain degree.
Do it. Yeah, 100%.
But it's training that out of you. And the other thing that humans do that actors kind of the job is not to do. Humans, when feelings and emotions come up, most of us, because of how we've been raised in society, want to hide that. Like the second someone starts to a lip quiver or starts to break down a little bit or starts to tear up, often the response is to apologize for that rather than owning it. And as an actor, when that stuff comes up, that is not the time to take a breath. Like you'll often see someone do a monologue and they'll get emotional in a part. And then right when they get emotional, rather than press and fight through that, they'll take a moment to take a breath and then calm down. But then all the emotion and the steam is all out of that. And another thing Tom mentioned today is hips, heart, head, meaning every great performance, it's got to have hips in it, meaning sensuality, sexuality, some cheekiness to it, some vim and vigor, testicular fortitude or ovarian fortitude. It's got to have hearts, so he's got to touch our hearts, and hopefully it connects with our minds as well. But those are also all the three chakras, and hips is the root chakra, and head is the top. So it's like if head, heart, and hips, starting with hips, and he always mentions when you're searching for material, find something that you first react to hips wise, so it activates your sensuality and those kind of emotions. Then hopefully find something. The second thing is there should be something in the heart that it connects with you. It touches your heart, and then hopefully the head is there too. But you put all those three together, that's as activated as a human being can be. Like that's the maximum emotional being. When you go to see a theater show, or when you watch a movie that just fucking destroys you, it's because you were activated in the hips and in the heart and in the head, and you witnessed a fully functional human being displaying all of their emotions, all of their heart, head, and hips, rather than seeing someone who started to feel that stuff and jammed it all down. And I'm certainly being a guy and being a male, not a guy and a male. I am a male. I am a male. Often we're taught, like when we're growing up, like boys don't cry, girls cry, and so all that stuff. And I feel I've worked through a lot of that, but still there's a lot of me sometimes. Now it's different. Now I think when that comes up, I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm there. Like if I'll even my Shakespeare monologue, if I get to the point where I'm emotional and kind of trembling or quivering or even a little watery tear eyes, I'm like, okay, I'm in the spot that I'm in the fucking pocket right now, not like, oh shit, what's happening to me? Why am I doing this? I can't possibly show people that I would cry.
Mm-hmm.
And any like we've talked about this too. Anytime I put a million things on Facebook and on YouTube and videos, and I can count on one hand the things that I put on where I was pretty emotional and or even cried in it. And those things have always got the most touching responses. I've got more DMs and more comments from those things. And this is from a guy who's a comedian and often being a wacky sketch comedian. And my intention often is to be doing wacky, crazy stuff to make people laugh and giggle. But it's actually been the times when I've made people cry that they've been the most impacted. So just the idea of don't hide from that, don't shrink from that. And when you are feeling those emotions, just plow forward through them, not to avoid them, but to recognize them and maybe even to shine a light on them and hold those emotions up on a bit of a pedestal and be like, holy fuck, I'm human and I'm dealing with human things right now. That's not something to shrink away from.